All right, good morning, everybody. It is Cowboy, 8:30 a.m. EST. Here we are in the charts, and we're going to start with Bitcoin today. So you can see here that over time, it has become that 53,000 is kind of a stronger support. Really, there's a kind of a quiet support, if you will, or quieter, sitting around maybe like 61,000. We've been using that, and it worked great going back through June, but price did end up dipping below. But that 61,000 still is a key point. You can see price pivoting around that price, around 61,000 here several times, right? Whether it's at a top or a bottom, and price more or less bounced off of that recently, right? It dipped a little below, but if you took a look at the price action going up, starting at the beginning of September, it moved up, pulled back, made its way up to the top here, and then it pulled back down. And when it pulled back down, you can see that it stopped right at this pivot point right here, which is 61,000. It dipped a hair below that, but not really to speak of. And as it dipped down, we see a bounce right here, and it's bounced up, and it grabbed this liquidity that existed just a couple of days ago. And then, of course, we have some more liquidity, and it's pretty sticky. I've been watching the liquidation charts. It's still hanging out there at about 66,000. It's really between 65.9 and 66.4, right? So that's where you see a lot going on there. So I do think price will make its way up there. It seems to be taking a little of a break right now. Grab that liquidity, stabbed back down, but that liquidity is still there, and the algos are still a little bit bullish on the daily, and even a hair bullish on the weekly. A little, I'd say, almost neutral on the weekly, just a hair bullish. We got SG. Good morning. Yeah, right. The battle continues. Good versus evil. Evil. Pick a side. All right. So we got, let's see here. Yeah, I think that if we zoom in a little bit, we have a better idea what's going on here, where price is just kind of taking a break on the way up. That's what I think is happening. Now, of course, price could turn around and head down. We're not, saying things are absolutely going to happen, but price stabbed down after grabbing that liquidity, and it looks like it is doing the same thing on a lower time scale as we just talked about earlier, right? So meaning that price came up, pulled back, moved up, and now it's pulled back right to here. And that is basically the kill zone from before. Not to say, it pulled in a little deeper, right? But now it's pulled back to right here. So let's redraw that. I probably should have done this better. Let's do it one more time. Price came up, pulled back, actually made a pullback to here, right there. See that? And then it came up to here. So the pullback, let me stretch this out a bit. So this wick coming down really is tapping on this kill zone right here. So it really shouldn't go any deeper. It can, but it shouldn't go any deeper than this right here. So let's actually draw a box around this kill zone so everybody can see what I'm talking about. These pullbacks on the way up are the kill zones, and this kill zone is from here to here. And price has stabbed down into that and is still in it now. So as long as the bullishness continues on the daily, right? Because right now the 3-hour is seeing a pullback in the algos right now, but it should continue up. It might not. It should, and it shouldn't go any lower really than about 62,400. Shouldn't. It could. It could very well. It's very possible. Actually, really, there. That's proper. So the actual number would be 62,309. So there you go. So price could hang out here, go sideways for a minute, although it does seem that things are pretty bullish on the daily. So price may not make it all the way down there. Might just, might only make it down to this prior stab down, which is at 62,639. So looking at that right now, looking at price going between just where it is right now and about 62.3, and then probably heading back up after that for at least the near term up to about 66,000-ish. SG wants to take a look at the Swiss franc versus the dollar. Let's take a look at that. All right. Good. We got some of our Forex traders in here. Yeah, we are definitely traders, right? So there's a difference. You got a lot of people in crypto who are not trading; they're just buying and holding, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's a great way to make money. For most people with crypto, buying and holding is the way money gets made, because most people are not traders. They don't understand what it is to trade. But for me, that's too passive. I need to trade. I can't. I mean, I do buy and hold. I rotate my wins into assets that I think will do well, such as Bitcoin or Solana. But I need to be actually actively trading. So it's just, now that might mean I'm just like, say, buying something and holding it for a few weeks, or it might be that I'm day trading and we call it scalping, things like that, like we're about to look at right now. But either way, got to do that. Yeah, she might not be a breakout, fake out. Could be either one. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna back out just a little bit. Take a brief look at the algos. It's bullish, slightly bullish, and that's on the weekly. So that's a pretty strong look here. There's a decent amount of bearishness on the monthly, but the volatility is like pretty low. Weekly, it's popping out of an SMI. Now, the thing is that on the daily, it is popping into a topside SMI dip. So we are looking at what could end up being a breakout, fake out. But I think that when it does break out, it'll be upside. And this is on the 3 hours. So I think the way this is going to look, it's going to end up pulling one of these right here, where it might pop back into this consolidation or not, right? So I think what we're going to see is, if you look at this this resistance up here from back in August, what we'll probably see is this. Some of this right here, and then something like that. That could happen. Or it could end up the price pops back in, breakout, fake out, but you get another pop up out later. And of course, anytime you have a pop out, it can always look like this, where it pops up and pulls out. So that's what I think is going to happen. It just might take a little time. It needs to gather up a little bit of steam, because if you take a look at the SMI on the daily, that's where you're going to see a little bit of algorithmic resistance right here on the daily. But it's bullish. I can tell you that it's bullish against resistance, right? So it's gonna be slow to come up until it comes up. That's usually how that works, right? It's got to gather up a little bit of steam, but that's what I expect. And this is not a bad trade. It may be, again, if you just look at it purely as a consolidation breakout trade, one could, it's kind of at a great entry right now if you want to do the pullback entry. But if you don't trust it because of the SMI dip, then I would look at I would let it break. If I were being super cautious, right, I would let it break above this right here, and then I would take the long, and I would take the long once it broke up above that. And you're still looking at a nice trade, depending on what structure it provides. If it provides any decent structure, which it already kind of has. If it were to break out, even if it were just to break out right now or later, this top right here can provide some structure. So you got to measure your stop loss, whatever that might be, and then you might end up with, like, say, a 3 or 4 to 1, depending on how your stop loss is built. So that might be your trade right there, if you're looking at that. So, but it's too early to say breakout, fake out, right? It could continue to roll and go up. But even if it is a fake out, I think eventually, even if it bounces all the way back down, I think eventually it's going to make its way back up. So we'll see about it, though. Things can change over time just based on what the algos look like right now. And of course, we wait until the conditions exist. We don't like anticipate the breakout per se. We wait till the conditions exist, unless things are like hyper bullish, which I'm not seeing that right now. So, all right. Well, I appreciate everybody watching here live. We are traders. We help people become traders. Come on over to algofactory.tech, zap the QR code on the right-hand side, top right-hand side. We actually very often help people who are already traders build their own algorithmic trading plan. And it doesn't mean you have to know how to code or anything like that. Most of our guys and gals are trading their algos manually, right? So you see that exit shorts, exit longs, like that's part of the algo that I built. One of them, that's my main one. You can see like there's an entry right here, and that's a beautiful trade. exit the shorts. You see there's a long entry right there. They're not all perfect, but they win a lot more often than they lose. And that's just my own algo that I've built, among many of a lot of algos that I've built. So, and this one's coded. I can actually have this one trade for me as I walk away from the computer. So that's ultimate goal for a lot of people, but it's not necessary. In fact, people get far better numbers when they trade manually. So you're absolutely welcome, SG. Either way, come on over, algofactory.tech, trade your job, upgrade your life. Do not forget.
Join us or die.